year. Left fielder Dean West will lead off for UCLA, and the first pitch from Schmidt is inside, ball one at 92 miles per hour. First pitch at 6:06 Central Time on this beautiful Friday evening in Champaign. West hitting .311 on the year. He's ahead of the count, 2-0. George, you referenced the patience of the UCLA lineup. They not shy to take a walk. Obviously, have some power bats up and down the lineup. Is that strike one, 2-1?
Again, yeah, look for them to return to that identity. A lot of these Bruins too, Dean West highlighting it here. Very good judge against pitches on the edge of the zone. You saw it there. Schmidt started him off with 2 fastballs inside.
And he hits it high in the air to right field. Jennings to the track, to the wall, right in front of the wall, makes the catch. And so Dean West a couple of feet away from his 5th home run of the year, but it's a long fly out.
Yeah, and that was an interesting sequence right there. Tyler Schmidt goes 3 out of those 4 with inside fastballs. That was very much like the first pitch of the game, and it's interesting because middle in is Dean West's home. That is the no-go spot for opposing pitchers to go against West. He gets a lot of power on that thin part of the bat, will usually go opposite field with it, and so that is very interesting there. We talk about, do you go with your identity, or do you factor in the fact that the Bruins like to attack in those certain places? And so far, Schmidt saying, I'm just going to play my game, just as we talked about.
First pitch, breaking ball strike to Rock Chalowski. The sophomore from Chandler, Arizona, 1 hop to shortstop. Zebig across the diamond in time. Chalowski, mid-season watch list for the Golden Spikes Award. And he's retired after a couple of pitches, and 2 up and 2 down for Tyler Schmidt.
Credit to Tyler Schmidt there for starting him off with those strikes, but that's exactly how the Bruins looked on Tuesday against Long Beach State. What was a surprise 4-2 loss. They were just much quicker at the plate than usual, swinging early, and a lot of hitters counts too, bailing guys out. So Chalowski, I'm sure, is going to start to think about that one and maybe go, slow down, slow down.
Back-to-back first pitch breaking ball strikes, this time to Boulivai Lavu, sophomore from Huntington Beach, California. Was second in the Big Ten at RBI, 19th in the country. This sliced down the left field line and foul, and the count will be 0-2.
That's a signature for him, just like Dean West, who started off this top of the first. A lot of power, middle in. Took an inside fastball to the left field wall against USC last time around. You can just see the raw power that he has. He nearly did it again right there. Credit to Tyler Schmidt here, 0-2, second time in a row.
Hitting .323 on the year, with 10 homers and this 61 RBI. Second in the Big Ten with those runs batted in, but also 19th in the nation. 0-2 pitch, and it's in the dirt. It's a swing and miss. Have to throw down to first, and Tyler Schmidt gets a 1-2-3 top of the first inning.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
And a trip to the NCAA tournament. UCLA is destined to be back in the NCAA tournament this year for the first time since 2022. It's Venus Valencias will take ball 1 from Ian May. May set down Illinois 1-2-3 in the first inning. Valencias, the .366, the 52 RBI, leading the Illini in those categories. Also leads Illinois with 13 doubles on the season.
It's a tempting changeup right there from May. He just didn't get it in enough that he wanted to. Too far out over the outer half of the plate for Valencias.
2-0 is hit high, deep, left center field, going back, Brennan. Valencias with his 7th home run of the season, leading off here in the bottom of the second inning, and Illinois on the board first 1-0, as that's the 10th home run that May has allowed this season in 52 1/3 innings pitched.
He missed on 2 off-speed pitches in a row. First the change and then the curve there, and we talked about it. Anything out to that left-handed batter's box or anything upstairs that does not break enough, that has been a miss for Ian May. He has had to eat on that with the curve this season, and it just happened again. Valencia's a very patient hitter, a guy who can wait for the ball to break and can prolong at-bats that way. He did it right there, and Illinois has run number 1 across.
66th home run as a team for Illinois this year. They're 5th in the Big Ten. Jack Ziebig, the shortstop, hitting .309 on the year. Took ball 1, and now ball 2. Ziebig, 8 homers and 43 runs batted in. Coming off a 1 for 5. Did drive in a run. A couple of strikeouts Tuesday against Bradley. As May able to get a strike in there.
So now if you're Ian May, how quickly can you return back to your off speed? Again, this is a guy who has multiple put-away pitches in that regard, but you saw him fire a fastball right there. That's a battle going through his mind right now, is how quickly can you flush that?
Ziebig pops it up, shallow left. Dean West loses the cap, makes the catch.
He retires Ziebig on the off-speed right there.
Ian May, not somebody that's going to go long in a game for UCLA. His season high is 5 innings. Did that against Cal Poly on February the 15th. This is his 10th overall start, his 4th start as the Friday Big Ten starter for the Bruins. Only lasted 3 2/3 last Friday against the Trojans, 4 runs on 7 hits. It's Kyle Shupman takes ball 1 low.
Yeah, May started the year in the Saturday slot. Roughed up a little bit, rebounds with some long inning appearances in the bullpen and in the midweek games, and then losing Cody Del Vecchio and Wylan Moss, he finds himself back in the rotation this time on a Friday. And again, Bruin fans are keeping an eye on Moss. He did pitch in the SC series, so that's a question for UCLA. How quickly can he get healthy as well?
Shupman, the third baseman, 278, 10 homers, 34 RBI. And opposite way, right field, sending Salgado back, and that flies out of here. 2 solo home runs in the inning for the Illini. This time, it's Shupman with his 11th long ball, and it's 2-0 Illinois.
That's 2. That's 2 that he hung, and Illinois made him pay for it. This time it was the changeup over the outside part of the plate. Again, if it's in that left-handed batter's box or if it's elevated back over the middle part of the plate, that has been trouble for Ian May this season. And lightning strikes twice here for Illinois in 3 batters.
Shupman, the Geneva, Illinois native, transferred back to Illinois from the University of Cincinnati. After 2 years there, rounds the bases. And the Illini have hit May twice here in the inning. Strike 1 to Drake Westcott. Think about home runs, you think about Drake Westcott, who has 41 career homers. He's 7 shy of tying Scott Spezio, the all-time program lead. Back-to-back breaking pitches slide in there for strikes, 0-2.
That's a big confidence builder right there for Ian May, that he's able to land that curve right there. Now, conversely, how quickly does he go back to the change? Because that's what Shupman ate him up on in the last at-bat.
Goes with a fastball at 88. Misses, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Another interesting wrinkle through this too, and that is May historically likes the first pitch fastballs on the outer half against righties toward the left-handed batter's box, in on Westcott in this case, and he's strayed away from that a little bit this game.
Got him looking with the fastball. 2 strikeouts for May. It'll be 2 outs, nobody on. Colton Quagliano, the Illinois second baseman. Early numbers, of course, for May, the 2 earned runs, the 2 hits, both home runs this inning.
May working the other way now and finishing with the fastball here. But again, the theme through this second inning, we talk about how he likes that off-speed combo late in counts. Everything starts in a similar spot from those 3/4 arm spots there. He just fooled Quagliano on it, on the curveball. And because he's hung 2 of those late in counts, he's tried to go to it here. His best weapon here has been taken away from him in the second inning.
277, 3 homers, 20 RBI for Quagliano. Count even at a ball and a strike. May was a weekend starter in his time at Cal. This is his 30th career start between the 2 schools. 1-1 pitch. Stays outside. 2-1. Redshirt junior.
May missed again right there, outside.
6'3", 205 pounds. Yeah, the count will run to 2 balls and 2 strikes to Quagliano, senior for the Illini. 1 for 3 on Tuesday against Bradley with an RBI. Also reached base on a walk.
He's going to want to have that one back, perhaps. Bailing May out just a little bit right there on that 2-1 as he had just missed with the off speed, and again in that same location outside against the righties.
2-2 to Quagliano. Full count.
Missed again with the curveball. 2 in a row right there on the outside.
So Illinois is trying to bounce back from being swept for the first time last week in Big Ten play. First time swept in 6 years. It's grounded to shortstop. Chalowski will throw out Quagliano.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
The 1-1 pitch from Schmidt. It's high, 2-1. Call a sophomore from Porter Ranch, California. Never done that before. Combined sophomore and Porter there. Sophomore from Porter Ranch, California. Schmidt ready for the 2-1. Now 3-1. Base runner Espinosa reaching base on a walk. Schmidt, a transfer from Division III Wisconsin lacrosse, played 2 years there and played both years in the Division III World Series, or 1 year the World Series, and the next year the Super Regionals at the Division III level. Sharp grounder to short. Oh, it's bobbled by Zebig, and that'll be an E6, and everybody's safe.
Sadly, nothing new for Zebig in Illinois. That has been a weakness of the Illini on the season, is that new infield tandem in the defense, particularly in the middle. Again, they've had plenty of time in this season, but it still shows its weakness. Zebig with some of those errors, and then Quagliano moving from third to second at the start of this season. And
it's the 60th error for Illinois this season, with today being the 47th game. They ranked 15th in the Big Ten in fielding percentage. Top of the order, Dean West, who flied out to deep right field. Ball was caught right in front of the wall by Jennings. Ball, strike 1 into West, who's hitting .375 this season with runners in scoring position.
And that error from Zebig, who does lead the team in that regard, is timely trouble as well, because Schmidt was relying more and more on the off speed, and he was starting to correct some of those misses that he had earlier in the inning, particularly with the change. And so that's a tough one there. We'll see how quickly he can rebound from it against, again, a guy who nearly took him out to start this game in the top of the first.
Checking on the runner there at first. Of course, first and third, you can see some action between the two base runners. That bounces away, but getting to it quickly enough was Schroeder, keeping the runners in their spots at first and third. And the count will be 1-1 to Dean West, who flied out to right field in the first inning. He's hitting .310 overall in the season in Big Ten play, hitting .354. His average, OBP, and slugging, all higher numbers in Big Ten play.
Again, watch middle in.
1-1. This ball outside and high. 2 balls and a strike to West, a sophomore from Woodland Hills, California.
Interesting, too, as well. Illinois is not shifting him too much. He has gotten the David Ortiz shift at times this season, with the third baseman moving deep into the 3-4 hole. Not really so the case here.
2-1 pitch. Left center field, long run for Chialoy, because he was stationed in right center. It drops in front of him. Scoring from third is Espinosa. Great job by Phoenix Call reading that ball. He gets to third, and it ends up as a 2-bagger for Dean West and an RBI. And it's 2-1 Illinois. Chialoy had a long ways to go, because he would look where he was stationed and watch the sprint, but couldn't get there in time.
And that's not usual either for Dean West. A lot of opponents will play him straight up as a guy who can, again, attack down the left field line on that middle in. So interesting there to see from Illinois. That one not necessarily middle in. West does a good job of going upstairs and grabbing that one. Not his usual spot to attack either. So hats off to Dean West here, and you said it, Phoenix call for being able to move to third on that. Great speed.
West is 34th RBI. It'll officially go as a single, and moving to second on the throw was West. Gets the RBI, as I mentioned. Here's Rock Chalowski. Grounded out to short his first time. 2 in scoring position with 1 out. He skies it to right field. This will score at least 1 with a sac fly, and it stays in the park. Tagging from third, Phoenix call. He will score. And UCLA, after giving up the home runs to Valencius and Shupman in the bottom of the second, they manufacture 2 runs here at the top of the third to tie the ball game up.
Yeah, both guys got bailed out a little bit right there. That one was belt high, higher than Tyler Schmidt wanted, and a little more outside. And then on the other side, Rock Chalowski thinking, I should have walked away with a little more right there as well. And so
54th RBI for Chalowski. That's an unearned run. Charge to Tyler Schmidt because of the error. Runner on second, and Lavu the batter. First pitch, high chop, underhand flip by Schmidt, and that retires the side. But UCLA, a walk, an error, had the RBI single by West and the sacrifice fly by Chalowski.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Again, with the way pool play is set up here in this new Big Ten tournament, being the 10 may be your advantage because you're locked in. Check that, being the 9 may be your advantage because you're locked in with the 4 and the 5 seeds. And if you end up as 7 or 8, you're going to have to go up against an Iowa or a UCLA. Meanwhile, Kyle Shupman will fire that one into left. Dean West will barely move. It will drop right in front of him for a base hit to open up the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, you mentioned the new format as Shupman 2 for 2 on the day. It'll be interesting to see how it all works out. It's really hard to say, okay, 9 seed is not a bad, you want to be the highest seed usually as you can, but you're right, if you get thrown into a different pool and all the matchups that you could potentially have. So have to do some research there and kind of figure out, as you saw Shupman now 49 hits on the year. Ian May, by the way, you see him at, let's see, he's officially at 64 pitches. And he's had some longer outings. He did throw, let's see, it was 93 pitches 2 outings ago against Penn State when he went 4 1/3. But he's only gone 5 innings once, and that was in his debut performance with UCLA in mid-February.
He does miss twice here to Westcott. Again, he started as the Saturday guy, and then with injuries to Wylan Moss and then Cody Del Vecchio being unavailable, May bumped into Friday.
See a lefty throwing for UCLA. Chris Grothus is in the bullpen right now.
May misses again here, and it's 3-0.
Grothus, excuse me, redshirt sophomore, was a 2.37 ERA.
Same spot, does get the call right there, and it's 3-1. Drake Westcott, a guy for Illinois who has had a long return to normalcy, a very long slump to start this season. Lost his spot at first base to Grant Ross. Every hitter has a clock, and his just involved seeing more pitches, taking more walks, a guy who seems to emulate the 3 true outcomes more and more throughout his 3 years here at Illinois.
Well, a scene for May that, again, the only mistakes he made were the home runs to Valencius and Shupman. Everybody else had been retired through the first 4 innings. And now a single and the first walk that he has issued. And with Grothus Warming up in the bullpen, the lefty. Going to have a mound visit right now for UCLA.
John Savage going to talk things over.
This is a good chance
it
to
may be the end.
good chance to talk more about John Savage. Second most wins in UCLA baseball history behind Gary Adams. I mean, think about the UCLA history. Gary Adams was the head coach from 1975 to 2004. And then you had John Savage, who took over this program in 2005. So you just had one handoff to the other. Savage, 710 wins, and Adams with 984 victories prior to him. And of course has a national championship back in 2013, this UCLA program. But I don't want to say, I guess, down by UCLA standards to not make the tournament the last couple of years and not reach the Super Regionals since 2019. Certainly, this is a team that's talented enough to be playing the second week of the NCAA tournament.
A lot of youth, a lot of pitching injuries in particular last year that stalled them. Now a very strong, a very connected sophomore core. As taking one outside there is Colton Quagliano.
You know, I've never seen this in the bullpen right now. Grotus is warming up with a batter. He has a batter, you know, up there in the right-handed batter's box, and he's warming up with the batter. I mean, I'm sure it's happened. I've just never seen it.
As live as bullpen reps can get. Great curveball right there from Ian May right down Broadway.
Now, the batter's not swinging because they're just in the bullpen, but it's certainly interesting to see out there.
John Savage, again, a pitching savant.
Not sure if we can get a shot at that. I don't know if our cameras are positioned to get that corner bullpen area, but it is interesting to see.
Quagliano attacks early here. May slowed him down a little bit there. Curious to see if he'll go even slower now, if he'll try and speed him up. 2 curves in a row here. Probably will go to something quicker, whether it's the fastball or the curve. Quagliano grounded out to short his last time up, so maybe considering something low here. Golden opportunity for a double play for the Bruins. Still a very tough out, though, and a guy who can take dirt balls and send them through. Right there on the outer half of the plate, he will send that one into right. Shutman will hold at third, and the Bruins have the bases loaded with nobody out.
Yeah, he just poked it right through the right side there.
One of UCLA's more reliable relievers, Grotus is, and a long road to recovery has brought him to this point, and is pretty similar to Ian May. Pushes off the left side of the rubber, works everything out of that 3/4 arm slot. Fastball and changeup look similar.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Grotus, he had pitched, what, one game in the first 2 years that he was at UCLA. And now this year, this being his 12th outing, and seems to be an issue with the pitch comm unit for Timothy Whittingham, or the umpire, Timothy Whittingham, going out to check on it here. There were more issues with the technology the first kind of year or two, but I feel like we've had fewer issues like this, because obviously the whole point of this is to keep the pace up, speed up the game. Don't have to run through signals as much. Just, you know, just get those pitch calls very quickly. So it looks like you need to swap out the equipment. It will eventually get going here, George.
Interesting to note how similar he is to Ian May with that delivery, and that similarity in the fastball and the off-speed shows that in the Bruin dugout and in the mind of John Savage, he liked what he was seeing from May. May just couldn't really finish it through that fourth, so similar style here against Illinois. See if Grotus can nail those spots.
Could be somewhat helpful to the Illinois batters as well, because you're not seeing something completely different.
Does get in right there, and that one drops on Jacob Schroeder for strike one. Grotus as well with an 11-5 curveball that is so deadly. A great pitch on its own, but he so rarely pulls it out. That's another factor, another wrinkle in this too. He will miss upstairs with it along with the fastball. Another similarity towards him and Ian May, that Illinois will surely be looking out for, as Jacob Schroeder fouls off a heater and Grotus doing his job so far in a pitcher's count. Again, the fastball and the change look similar. Everything out of that 3/4 arm slot. This time he misses badly, though, coming home right there, and the plate, he is safe! Kyle Shupman scores, and Illinois has run number 3 across.
Moving up to third went Westcott as well. Quagliano stayed at first, but wild pitch, and Shupman able to scamper home in time. And obviously Illinois is thinking big inning here with still the 2 runners on and nobody out, as that was just the second wild pitch that Grotus has thrown all year in 19 innings.
And there you saw that fastball change combo, except that he missed quite noticeably with it. Now 1-2 here. Does he go back to the fastball? He goes to that curve, and it will stay towards the infield for out number 1. Still potential for damage here for Illinois as you are into the top of the lineup. In Nick Groves. Interesting, Groves coming into this one 0 for 2, 2 ground outs on the day, and this isn't, while Quagliano himself is not necessarily known to grab bags, this is an Illinois team that has been stealing regardless of where you are in the lineup this year, even at the top of the lineup, even if a cleanup hitter is aboard, they have
especially
been grabbing
compared
bags.
to last year.
Yes, indeed, and so maybe with the way Groves tonight has done, getting on top of balls a lot for some ground balls. UCLA perhaps thinking the same thing with the throw back towards Mulavai-Lavu at first. Is this a situation where Quagliano takes off?
As Groves handles the bat very well, 348 this year with runners in scoring position.
And he won't have to. Illinois has them loaded again, as missing for the second batter in a row on the off speed toward that left-handed batter's box is Grotus.
11th time that Nick Groves has been hit by a pitch this season. Leads the Big Ten, partly because of that in OBP. Started the day at 522, top 20 in the country in getting on base. And Groves will get on base for the first time today.
And now a very dangerous hitter in Cameron Chialoy, a guy who started as the leadoff man, found himself into the 2-hole, but has been very hot as of late, particularly on the power side. Waits on a curveball and will send it into the gap. Westcott scores. Quagliano scores. Stopping at third is Groves. Illinois has cut it to a 1-run lead.
Just attacking that first pitch. Cameron Chialoy not letting Grotus get into any rhythm in this at-bat, especially right after hitting Groves. So great job by Chialoy.
And you saw there, that off speed did not drop as much as Grotus wanted it. Third batter in a row that he misses with it. This case he hung it. Chialoy took advantage of it. That's exactly how Illinois got their first 2 runs off some hanging breaking balls in the bottom of the second. 2 home runs, the lone blemishes for Ian May.
Chialoy is now hit safely in 11 of the last 12, in 21 of the last 25 games. His 8th double of the season there.
Colin Jennings takes one low. Again, Jennings likes to attack on stuff on the outer half and high up in the zone. Grotus has mostly gone low so far. Not that time, though. Deep to right field, to the track, and to the wall.
It hits the netting that's in front of the scoreboard there, so it drops back onto the field. But Colin Jennings got all of that one. And what do you know, a 6-run inning for Illinois. And they've taken the lead 8-6, and there's still only 1 out in this inning.
So perplexing from the UCLA side. The first time Grotus goes high against a hitter that loves to attack high and outside. That's exactly where that ball was, about letter high, in between the letter and the numbers, and Jennings sends a moonshot into right past A.J. Salgado. 3-run home run, and you said it, a 6-run inning. As Illinois got hot around the middle part of this season, this is how they were making their money on so many big innings. Now, can Grotus find his footing? Ball one inside on Vitas Valencius.
UCLA has a righty up in the bullpen, Cal Randall. 6'4", 210-pound sophomore from Discovery Bay, California, is out there.
They're trying to get him warmed up as quick as he can. Again, Grotus, one of the Bruins' more reliable relievers. So many of the Bruins' reliable relievers got charged and got knocked around in the series last weekend against USC. Guys like Ryan Rhesus, Chris Grotus as well. And that seems to be continuing here for Grotus on account of being unable to locate the off-speed 3 batters in a row. Now 1-2 here on Vitas Valencius. Grotus has spread him out here. Now Valencius will fire one into the left center gap past the glove of Chalowski. He's going for 2, and he's got to make it quick. The throw is not a good one from Dean West. And Valencius, with that speed, grabs a double. Illinois, no sign of taking their foot off the gas here, as they are back in a 2-run lead, looking to add more.
Well, Illinois showing why they're top 5 in the Big Ten and top 50, top 60 when you look at home runs and slugging percentage. They're doing that here this inning with 2 doubles and a home run to go along with a couple of other singles, a walk, a hit by pitch, and tagging both Ian May and more so Chris Grotus here.
Ian May elevated the curveball. 2 singles and a walk. Loads the bases. He gets knocked out of the game. And then a wild pitch brings home Kyle Shutman. Nick Groves gets hit to reload the bases. Cameron Chialoy brings in 2. And then the cherry on top so far for Illinois being the home run, the 3-run moonshot to right from Colin Jennings. Now Jack Ziebig 0 for 2 on the night. He and Valencius this season for Illinois have gone back and forth as most consistent hitter for the home team. Valencius will ground one into the hole at second. A bobble there from Call before he is able to retire the Illinois shortstop for out number 2. Meanwhile, getting to third there is Valencius. Now the man who started this inning, Kyle Shutman, a home run in the second, a single in the 5th. Perhaps Illinois' hottest hitter in the past few weeks. And again, all of the damage for the Illini in this game has come on elevated off-speed pitches. Did that one hit Shutman? Yes, it did. And runners back on the corners again. Cal Randall still loosening in the bullpen. All eyes on the Bruin dugout to see if he will make an appearance.
Sorry, the second batter now that Grotus has hit in this inning, and going to have batter number 11 of the 5th inning. Grotus himself has gone through 7 batters and now will face an 8th.
Westcott walked. The second man to see the plate here in the bottom of the 5th. Now he will be, as you said, Scott, the 11th man.
Sure, Westcott seeing the home runs hit in front of him. He wants to continue to add that total, second most in program history with 41.
He gets after that one, an elevated fastball, and will take it in to center field. Valencius will score. Getting to second there for Illinois is Kyle Shutman. And Illinois has a 7th run across here in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, I mean, not a home run, but an RBI single. Driving a 7th run and a 2-out run. That's something Illinois is so proficient in. 43% of their runs driven in this season have come with 2 outs on the board, and they pick up another 2-out run on this swing by Drake Westcott. So clutch hitting when it's needed. 317 this year with runners in scoring position. 304 with 2 outs for Illinois.
Fastball sinks late, produces some ground balls and some Ks. That's a huge part of his game, though he misses with it dramatically there.
So Ian May, his line finished at 4+ innings, 5 runs on 4 hits, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, 72 pitches, 42 for strikes. Gave up those 2 home runs in the 2nd inning, and then everything fell apart for UCLA in this inning. It was tougher for Grotus in relief.
Randall with a really high leg kick, able to speed up Quagliano there.
Grotus giving up 4 hits and hit 2 batters. And so far responsible for 4 runs that have scored and both runners on base.
Again, another very reliable Bruin reliever getting tagged, just as happened in the USC series. Now that one a little bit more inward than Randall may have wanted, as it will send Dean West to the track. He will retire Colton Quagliano. 12 up.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
Here's Dean West, who's been on base 3 times today. Takes strike 1, 2 singles, 2 RBI, also hit by a pitch. 16th multi-hit game this year for West. 2 in scoring position. It's .397 this year with runners in scoring position. And he's down on the count 0-2 against Bates, who again, who has been pretty much lights out over the last several outings. Save against Bradley on Tuesday. An inning with just a walk and a strikeout.
Right on cue. Curveball out, curveball in.
0-2. Turned on, grounded, and it goes off the first baseman, Westcott. Ricochets by Quagliano, and that'll bring in 2 runs. And UCLA is within 1 at 9-8 on a sharply hit ball by West down the line that looked like Westcott was in front of, but you have to see the hop and see, obviously, it ate up Westcott.
What a gut wrencher there for Illinois. 3 curveballs in a row from Zach Bates. It looks
off
like
the heel maybe of his glove there, because he was in front of it, went down to a knee to play it.
Looks like he was going for some weak contact middle in on Dean West, but again, that's always tough with him because middle in is where he makes his money, and he can get a lot of power on those pitches. So 3 curves in a row, tough there to go middle in on West. And
so an error that brings both runs in and puts West at first base. Now the go-ahead run at the plate, Rock Chalowski. 2 RBI in the game with a sac fly in the 3rd, a single that drove in a run in the 4th.
you do wonder, to play the hypothetical game for a moment, if UCLA still would have scored had Westcott fielded that. You didn't really see a lot of action on the bases at third before that bobble from Westcott. And so very pivotal here for Illinois. That's error number 3 in this game. And those 3 errors have been responsible for 4 of the Bruins' runs, 1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th.
And now the count is 2-0 to Chalowski, with West at first base, who has 9 steals in 12 attempts. Doesn't swing, takes the strike, 2-1.
That's a tempting pitch for Chalowski with how he likes to attack on the outside part of the plate, but he realized it right there that that one was fluttering back in the zone. Ends up a strike either way.
Extended his hit streak to 13, his on-base streak to 16 here tonight. Doesn't chase high. 3 balls and a strike. Olivier Lavu is on deck. Doesn't have a hit yet today. Didn't reach on a walk his last time.
Runner on first and 2 down here. Again, Chalowski doesn't attack anything too high. That curveball on 2-0 that Bates was able to get in the zone was a little high for his liking, so though he misses there, curious to see if Bates would have gone back inside with it again, tried for some weak contact, but no, it was back to the fastball.
Over 4 innings, giving up 6 hits, a couple of walks, and struck out 3.
And again, pivotal for Illinois that they had that bridge to Dye and Bates in the form of Reed Gannon. Probably their most reliable reliever when he is locked in after those other 2 pitchers. And so, again, how can you try and get more bullpen arms just because Dye and Bates can't go every game? Again, both pitched the setup and the close Tuesday night in Illinois' win. Now they have to do it again.
The dangerous LeVou takes ball 1 to the dismay of the Illinois crowd.
Yeah, the dugout as well, not happy there with home plate umpire Tim Winningham. Again, LeVou, like Dean West, if he gets one middle in, he likes to take it opposite field, and a ton of raw power on the thin part of the bat for this guy.
2-0. LeVou with 61 RBI of the year. Second most in the Big Ten entering the weekend. Just a sophomore. Had 33 RBI last year with a 291 average. Right now up to a 318 batting average.
Again, it's tough for Zach Bates to drop one in on him because he is a good judge of those pitches right on the corner of the zone. You saw it on those first 2, as it's now 3-0, and Bates is at risk of loading him up.
Out of the zone, and LeVou not going to chase that. He's already up in the count, 2-0.
Bates has gone almost exclusively off speed here in this at-bat.
Here's the 3-0. Fires in the fastball at 92 miles per hour, belt high for strike number 1. Illinois leading UCLA 9-8. They're out hitting them 9-8. But Illinois has committed the only 3 errors in the game.
If he goes with the fastball here, where does he throw it?
It's hit foul, 92 miles per hour, and he fouled it off the fastball.
What a gamble. Same exact spot right down Broadway for Mulavai LeVou.
All right, now the runners will both get a head start from first and second. Tying run at second, go ahead run at first. LeVou, who hits 385 with runners in scoring position. The payoff pitch, strike 3 called, and Bates will leave Illinois in the lead.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the action.
UCLA, by the way, is 9-7 in games decided by 2 runs or fewer. And 7-3 specifically in 1-run games. They're going to turn this around here. Down 9-8 in the 9th inning. Roman Martin taking ball 1, 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. Also has a run scored.
Remember, Martin started things off in the top of the 4th when the Bruins batted around and brought 4 home. Bates starts him out with 2 fastballs here in 2 different locations.
Martin, the sophomore. Today, his 15th multi-hit game of the year. Batting average at 297. 2-0 pitch, and it's 3-0.
3 straight fastballs here in 3 completely different locations. Second one on the outside, third one completely in. Bates might have to throw another one here to make it 3-1. Interesting look here, going heater exclusive to start.
Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Martin. That's the tying run. Second walk from Bates. And in will step Salgado, who's 1 for 4 with an RBI double.
Illinois' most potent reliever now showing some kinks in the armor, as he did in the 8th inning. When is he going to break out this off speed? I mean, it's early, 4-pitch walk, but still 4 fastballs in a row here.
Pinch runner going to be coming on. Grant Gray is going to come run for Martin at first base here in the 9th inning. Sophomore from Norco, California. Former member of the Bruin football team.
Pitch running for the Bruins, number 6, Grant Gray.
Slot receiver on that program as well under Chip Kelly and Deshaun Foster. So you will know
Probably
his speed
probably
for
speedy,
sure.
yes. 1 for 1 this year. Stealing bases in limited action that he's had.
Surprised if they do it with Salgado at the plate, though, with how hot he has been in this game. Again, Bates is a lefty. You saw him sort of arc over a little bit toward first there as Gray started to take his secondary.
Obviously, Bates has a better look at the runner at first base. If anything, Gray might dance around a little bit more just to mess with Bates and not necessarily look at a steal second. You did see Salgado show bunt. Does it now. Ground ball to second. Quagliano to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. Z-Big's relay to first base. Couldn't get there quickly enough. Salgado reaches on a fielder's choice. Gray out 4-6.
5 straight fastballs to open the inning there. A big one for strike 1 there from Bates. And then he brandishes the curveball there. And a near 4-6-3 opportunity for Illinois.
Take a look at how close this was at first base, but obviously clearly in there.
Now batting number 11, Payton Brennan.
Payton Brennan doubled last inning, scored on the error by Westcott at first base. That inning could have been over and could have been 9-6 here in the 9th inning. Pinch hitter waiting on deck potentially for UCLA as Brennan at strike 1.
Now curveball number 2 in a row from Bates right there. Good vertical drop right there. Again, it's already so lateral with how he starts things. Again, with that lefty, with that 3/4 arm release that he threw it on there. Throw that little vertical drop in there as well. That can be a menace.
Runner going from first. The pitch in for a ball to throw down in time. Salgado caught stealing.
Yeah, the right foot.
Gets to the base right there, right before the tag, it would appear. And obviously close. And enough to overturn it. Stolen base. The count's 1-1 to the batter, Brennan.
2 curveballs right before this make that 3 in a row. Bates elevated it right there, though.
So the tying run now at second base for the Bruins. It's Salgado after his 13th steal in 14 attempts this year.
So now 3 curveballs in a row from Bates. When is he going to brandish the fastball? He's going back and forth, teeter-tottering on extremes here to start the 9th.
2-1, 2-2.
The more curveballs in a row he throws, the more you start to think, if you're Brennan, when is he going to pull out that heater? Bates really has him in a hole right here mentally. Just because he has been able to land that heater here. Or check that, he has been able to land that curve here.
Bates a perfect 7 for 7 in save opportunities this season. As the count full at 3-2.
Maybe he was trying to get him to chase right there. That one was a curve as well. Just started it much lower. So you can either go back up with the curve. Do you consider the fastball here? You got options if you're Bates here.
The 3-2. Inside ball 4.
He went with the heater and he missed him in. Missed it to the arm side for Zach Bates.
2 lefties warming in the Illinois bullpen right now. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for UCLA. Initially, it was going to be Logan DeGroot, but now John Savage calls him back and is bringing in Toussaint Bythewood, a junior from Encino, California, out of Harvard-Westlake.
Pitch inning for UCLA, number 44, Toussaint Bythewood.
And I mean, I just have to say, 11 Basketball is one of my favorite movies of all time. And Toussaint's mother, the director of that movie. So just thank you. Great movie. Just all-time great. All right, it's back to business now.
Tying run in scoring position for the Bruins. Again, Salgado has showcased that speed already today.
Right to the backstop with a wild pitch. And just like that, and Evan Clark for Illinois right now. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Bythewood. Here's the pitch. 2-0. You saw Bythewood's only had 6 at-bats, 2 hits. Does have a couple of walks as well, so he's had a couple of more plate appearances, driven in a pair.
That fastball very close right there.
The infield up the middle is back, so a ground ball to second or short, unless it's hit directly at the infielder on a screaming line, could and should tie the game. And of course, a fly ball to at least medium depth. Probably going to see Salgado tagging from third to come home and tie the game. 3-0 pitch, 3-1.
That fastball hits 95 on the top of the zone, but 4 straight fastballs here from Zach Bates. He's gone 5 fastballs in a row, 4 curves. Now he's back to 4 fastballs in a row. This has been an inning of extremes for the Illinois closer here.
3-1, and the count will run full, 3-2, as you have Duggar on deck.
Another heater. He has not switched back and forth from them throughout this ninth, through the 3 hitters he has faced so far. So if I'm that UCLA dugout, if I'm Bythewood, I'm picking up on that. He hasn't switched on it yet. He could, but he hasn't so far. Something to keep in mind here.
The 3-2 pitch from Bates. Chopper to shortstop. This will tie the game. Bythewood will be out, as keeping his foot on the base was Westcott. RBI for Bythewood to tie the game, scoring Salgado from third. Brennan goes to third, and the pinch hitter does his job. He's sent in there, tie this game up, and he does it with the RBI groundout.
5th fastball in a row right there from Zach Bates.
The first unsuccessful save this season for Zach Bates. Needed to get 4 outs, came on with 2 runners on in the 8th inning with 2 outs. Of course, the 2 runs scored on the error by Westcott. And then here in this 9th inning, walk, fielder's choice, the stolen base, the call that was overturned. And you had the walk to Brennan. The wild pitch moved the runners up to second and third, and that wild pitch proves to be very costly because that allows the run to score on the groundouts. Now, Bates, get this final out, and you like your offense's chances to win this game in the bottom of the 9th. So it'll be Jennings, Valencius, and Zebig. And action in the UCLA bullpen right now, 2 righties. Runners at third here, runner at third, so Schroeder has to do a good job of blocking these pitches as well. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
Bates continuing to ride the heater, going upstairs here on Cashel Duggar. Again, Duggar likes to attack high fastballs and stuff around belt high, and so pay attention to that here. Bates challenging him in his hot zone, in his sweet spot here.
Duggar's 0 for 3, did walk and score his last time up. That was last inning. The next pitch is high, 2-1.
I wonder, does the fact that he's 0 for 3 on the day play into that at all? Like, if Dean West were at the plate, we know the day that he has had for UCLA, nearly perfect on the day. Would you go middle inning? You know,
I feel like he'd be playing with fire a bit.
Right. So if Duggar's had the day that West has had, would you do that? Bates continuing to go up here in Duggar's sweet spot, but because he's 0 for 3 today and hasn't really been able to attack pitches, now has evened the count back up at 2-2. It's an interesting little game within the game here.
Bates trying to send this to the home half of the 9th, tied at 9. UCLA tying the game without a hit in the inning as this pitch was behind him and it got him. Home plate umpire Timothy Winningham saying that got Duggar, and I was going to say obviously a great play by Schroeder to not allow that ball to get to the backstop, or UCLA would have the lead, but it wouldn't have mattered because it's a hit by pitch. And now here's Phoenix call.
Just about all of Zach Bates' misses in this game have been with the fastball. You start to wonder, can he go back to the breaking ball. We haven't seen it here in quite a while.
Looks like he got his back elbow around there on, basically you couldn't see it.
Now back to the heater, and the Illinois fans really laying into Tim Winningham here. He's missed, correction, he has missed with both in this game, so. And when you consider that coming into this, he had just 1 earned in his last 11 on the mat.
So far in this outing, charged with 1 earned run, allowed 2 inherited runners to score, but again, those both scored due to an error. No hits allowed by Bates in the innings, or the batters that he's faced, but he has walked 3 and hit 1.
And very uncharacteristic of the Illinois closer as he's continuing to struggle with the fastball here.
You would think this is it, one way or the other, for Bates, with the 2 lefties in the bullpen. And on deck, the top of the order for UCLA, the lefty West.
Again, we know the day, if UCLA can get there, we know the day Dean West has had.
Strike 1, 3-1. Oh, they coming home and scoring! Stealing home, delayed there, and UCLA has taken the lead 10-9, Payton Brennan. Everybody, including myself, not paying attention for that split second, and he comes home to score. Duggar goes to second. I know I'll need a replay. Here it is.
What another backbreaker. He takes off as soon as Schroeder throws that back home. Zach Bates, flustered as he already is, throws that one away. Meanwhile, advancing to second as well. Wow. That shows, if you're John Savage and Bryant Ward, you know what that shows here as call is aboard. That shows that you have confidence.
He hit the ball down the first base line in the 8th inning that was misplayed by Drake Westcott. Could have been the final out of the inning. It brought home 2 runs instead. That got UCLA within 1. And now here in the 9th inning, they've scored twice to take the lead. And West is on base again, the second time he's been hit by a pitch. So he's on base successfully 4 times today.
A second Illinois lefty here in the top of the 9th, struggling to find his command with the express train. Evan Clark, a guy who will almost operate exclusively from the sidearm. Again, pitch type, speed, location, all harder to judge as a hitter. We've seen so many of those guys operate from that 3/4 and sidearm today, going back to the starters as far back as the Bruins, Ian May. They'll spread the fastball high and low. When he misses, as you saw there with the hit on Dean West, it will usually be towards that left-handed batter's box, and the pitchers won't sweep far enough across the zone. So keep that in mind here, as he's already shown it here, 2 pitches into his appearance. Not to mention who is at the plate in Rock Chalowski, who loves to attack on the outer half of the plate. This is very dangerous and a chance for the Bruins to break it open.
UCLA has scored 4 runs over these last 2 innings with only 1 hit. Chalowski sharply hit the shortstop. Z-Big goes the short way to second, and the side is retired, but UCLA takes the lead.
Hold the deficit at what it was, a 3-run deficit at that time before taking the lead over the last 2 innings in memorable fashion. Again, stealing home, Payton Brennan did to make it 10-9 in the top of the 9th. And boy, oh boy, you mentioned that USC game for Easton Hawk. We are in for a wild ride. Had some command problems, walked a couple of guys, hit 1 as well, and made things real dicey in a 1-run game in the bottom of the 9th exactly a week ago against USC. And he was able to recover with 2 strikeouts in a row, back-to-back fastballs.
1-1 to Jennings, who is 1 for 4, but the 1 was a 3-run homer in the 7-run 5th inning that Illinois had when they sent 12 batters to the plate. Valencius and Z-Big to follow. Big swing and hit foul off the left side.
96 on the radar gun. That's Easton Hawk right there. Reached 97 last week against the Trojans. That's usually where his fastball will go. If he goes low with it, it's a miss. You know, with that speed can come accuracy troubles. That's something the Trojans also learned very well last week, and he likes it middle in against lefties. Pay attention to that.
High chop foul on the 1-2 pitch, so it remains 1-2.
Another thing he will do, again, we've already mentioned it, he will throw back-to-back fastballs. He'll go middle in to middle out to try and get guys chasing for strike three. He will mess with things laterally, trying keeping everything around the middle third.
1-2 again. In the dirt, 2-2.
Yeah, Hawk trying to establish the off-speed here so far. He likes to keep the breaker outside no matter who is at the plate, but he's failed to do that on exactly 3 in a row here against Colin Jennings. That might be a scouting report factor, knowing Jennings likes to attack on the outside.
This is close at 97 low, and it's 3-2. The Bruins 10 runs on 8 hits. No errors committed by UCLA, which is not much of a shock. They've left 10 runners on base. Illinois 9 runs, 9 hits, 4 errors in the game, and 5 left on as it's lifted deep and slicing down the left field side, but it's going to land in the Illinois bullpen for a long, long strike.
Fastball 94 that stayed on the outer half of the zone. Again, about middle height, around the middle third is where Hawk likes to keep everything. And again, pay attention. He loves to throw back-to-back fastballs, inside out or outside in. Could be a setup here to try and go inside, whether it be with the fastball or the off-speed.
3-2 again. Strike 3 called. Jennings down looking. 1 out here in the 9th inning.
That one much lower than his middle third tendencies may suggest right there, but he indeed did go with the fastball. Again, downstairs is not a place Colin Jennings likes to attack. A huge pivotal first out for UCLA.
Like to be above the knees. Valencius homered in the 2nd, doubled and scored in the 5th, and also singled in the 7th, and he's going to have his first 4-hit game of the season.
Mistake right there from Easton Hawk. You had to have watched the game in the bottom of the 2nd. That's where Valencius attacked. Outer half, outside part of the plate. He hit that home run in the 2nd on a hanging breaking ball. Here it's on one that drifts away from him that he's still able to make contact with. You have to know who you're dealing against. This is a guy who golfs one out opposite field almost for a living, it seems, as he did in the 2nd in that exact location.
His first 4-hit game of his Illinois career for Vitas Valencius. And he is the tying run with Jack Ziebig at the plate. Ball 1, Valencius.
We will keep our eyes on him at first.
Yeah,
10 for 11 on the year in stolen bags. Has already had some activity there today in that regard. Curious if he does it with Ziebig at the plate with the day that he has had.
Ziebig, the only Illini to not reach base safely today. It's the count 1-1.
Again, you see Easton Hawk keeping everything middle in right here. Or check that, about the middle third of the zone. They also haven't checked on Valencius either, which is pretty interesting. Again, a lot of lefties in this game. Now you have a righty in Hawk in. Valencius also not taking too much of a lead.
1-1. It'll be 1-2.
2 straight fastballs on the outer half that Ziebig has fouled off and stayed contact with. So you can do one of 2 things. You can try for some weak contact right down that middle again. Again, go outside to inside, which Hawk likes to do. Or you can maybe try and throw an off speed because Ziebig has bitten off this fastball as he's shown he can stay with him.
Outfield playing deep as they want to keep everything off the bat at Ziebig in front of them.
Good at bat here from Ziebig. That one still over the out more than the in, but it was a little bit further in, a little bit towards that middle, a little closer there. Ziebig showing he can hold on to it 3 times here. Now do you throw one in or do you throw that off speed? He's shown that he can stick with the fastball here, so
Seabig fouls it off again to the left side.
Same location, same result. You're just delaying the inevitable here, you feel like, if you're Easton Hawk.
For the record, there is a lot of space down left field with the outfield shifted towards right for Seabig to pull. Shortstop Chalowski playing up the middle. They're hoping to turn two. The combination of Chalowski and Call, as that's a close one inside. 2-2. It's a UCLA defense that has turned the most double plays in the country. So they are very well practiced up the middle.
All fastballs here. He tried to do the exact same thing he did with Colin Jennings. Too low right there.
2-2. And what do you know? Somebody over there outside the ballpark is collecting the foul balls right now. That's what, 4 now that have been fouled off that way?
This is beautiful to watch. If you're not a UCLA fan, you just love how Illinois is able to foul these off over and over, prolong this at-bat.
Breaking pitch, drops in, strike 3.
And there you go. There's the off speed.
No, that's strike 3. Okay, Seabig was hanging around for a while at the plate, like that wasn't strike 3.
There's the off speed, and boy, did that one drop down low. The Illinois dugout not too happy, and we can hear it through our headsets as well, dugout and fans alike, but still, fastball over and over and over. Went inside, didn't get him, trying to freeze him, then goes back to that outside over and over. Seabig shows that he can stay with it, but Easton Hawk getting the benefit of 2 low strikes right here for 2 pivotal strikeouts, and now the last hope for the Illini.
It's up to Kyle Shupman. Swings at the first pitch, hits it high in the air, but shallow left field. West the catch, and the Bruins another come-from-behind victory for UCLA this season. This is their 18th comeback win on the year.